Welcome to the channel. This is Oblivion, and we have some legendary news in this Datamine. That is correct. The Hall of Forms Datamine has dropped, and we know the 4 characters who are going to be in next month's Hall of Forms. And we have legendary Tiki here. Now this is very big news because this is the first time a legendary hero has ever shown up in the Hall of Forms, and it also can help determine some of the weird things that we've seen in the reruns that are supposed to be coming up, right? Because in the future months, we did notice that there are too many heroes being rerun in May and some of the other months, which means possibly those legendary heroes as well will end up in the Hall of Forms. So in this Hall of Forms, let's talk about first, we have legendary Tiki. So you can get a fully built legendary Tiki with premium skills with 1 Forma Soul. That's absolutely insane, right? Now, Tiki isn't the best bar save as she once was, but she's still pretty good, right? So you can give her that full kit, you can get her like Hardy Fighter or whatever else, which is really nice. Then we also have Brave Marth, and I think this is really big news, right? Because Brave Marth is going to be able to get some premium skills here. Now the thing is, of course, is that Brave Marth will be getting refined later this year, so it can be difficult to say what his best build will be, right? Considering we don't know what his refined will be. But you still can get some really good skills here, right? You could get like Special Spiral 4, you could get like Attack Speed to Finish, right? You could get Hexblade, all those kinds of fun little things you can get him, which can make him really strong. So that way, if you do invest here and get him a very premium kit, when he does get his refined, it might just pay off, right? And I think that could be a really good idea to do, right? That's something I did with Nysala. I gave him a full kit, then he got an amazing refine, and now Nysala is a complete beast, right? So I think that's a good option. Definitely something I'll probably end up doing. I might probably going to pick up Tiki and Marth, to be honest. Then we have Chris here, and we also have Katarina, 2 other options. I'm not as excited for these 2, obviously, but if you do love them, this is a great chance to give them a good build. What I'm really excited for is the possibilities of what comes next. Okay, so let's look at this rerun calendar I have, done by Mina776, who did a wonderful job. And this is the Legendary and Mythic Remix banners that are coming up, right? So if we look in May, you'll notice that there are 5 colorless units supposed to be being rerun. But most notably, we have Alm and Duma. Now the reason why this matters is because in May, we will be getting the Shadows of Valencia Hall of Forms. So what this possibly means is that we're getting Alm and Duma in the Hall of Forms. Now this isn't confirmed, so don't get too excited, right? It's possible that maybe we get one of them and not the other. But if it is possible, this is really big news. Now Duma is good, but he's not like absolutely amazing. But even so, being able to get a defense mythic with a fully busted out kit is really nice and definitely worth a Forma Soul. But on the other hand, you have Alm. And Legendary Alm is like one of the best nukes in the entire game right now. So being able to go in and get like a full kit for Legendary Alm, like getting my version of Legendary Alm, right? With like Hexblade and like Special Spiral 4, which you don't really need, or like a Lull, or like Steel Speed 4, or whatever else, right? Like Times Pulse 4. Being able to get all that for just 1 Forma Soul is absolutely ridiculous. It can give you a really powerful nuke for your account, right? So that's a big deal for May. And then if we continue to follow this trend, we can keep looking down, right? In June, we have Julia by herself, which would be the month where we would get the Genealogy Hall of Forms. So that's very likely that she could show up there. In July, we would be getting the Thrasha Hall of Forms. We don't see Leaf here, but maybe it's possible that he goes from May to July when he gets like a rerun, right? So maybe they just move him over 2 months and then we get like a Leaf Hall of Forms. That could be really cool. In August, it's not looking too good at the moment, right? It would be Fire Emblem 6, so maybe Legendary Roy can jump over there and then we get that, right? Alina hasn't been remixed yet, so there's no chance for that. And then in September, we don't have anyone there either, but we do have Hector and Lynn in May, so it's possible they get pushed to September and then we get one of them as a Hall of Forms unit, which would be really cool. I would absolutely love to finally get a decked out Legendary Lynn. I think that'd be awesome. In October, we would be like Ephraim or Erica. Currently, there's nothing rerunning there, but I could see that like maybe being swapped. Maybe Erica goes to October. I don't think Ephraim will, but being able to get like a fully decked out Erica for a Form Soul is really cool. And then in November would be Path of Radiance. There are no legendary or mythic heroes from Path of Radiance technically. They're all from Radiant Dawn. So then we go to December with Radiant Dawn. Now, unfortunately, right now, Ike is being rerun in January, which doesn't line up with the Hall of Forms, but it's possible that they do change that, right? They change it all the time. Every month, they like move stuff around, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Ike get moved to December, and then we could possibly get a legendary Ike Forma Soul, which would be really nuts. And then later, we could get like Lucina or Crom in January, and then Fates would be in February, so maybe Azura shows up there, which would be really cool. And then lastly, in March, we would get like maybe Sothis for 3 houses. So as you can see, like, right, there's just a ton of possibility now. The gates have been pretty much opened and we could get some really powerful units with some really powerful fodder. And only for 1 Forma Soul. That's the really big deal. Because as I've said in some other videos, right, the thing holding back a lot of units is that you need powerful skills that all come from premium 5 stars. You're kind of like spending like 150, 200 orbs to get this really powerful skill for your favorite unit. But with this change, we could possibly get these legendary heroes with fully busted out kits for 1 Forma Soul, which is a really big deal, especially because the Celestial Stone Shop is about to get refilled again, right? It's about to relapse, so you can get another Forma Soul. So you could grab one now, maybe, for 3 Celestial Stones, and then grab another 3 in a couple weeks, which would be really cool, because you could pick up some good legendary heroes. Anyways, that's enough talking about that. I'm very, very excited. I think this is a great change, and hopefully this does come true, and we can actually get some really cool legendaries with some great builds for very, very cheap. Okay, now let's move on to the 3 houses of Datamine, and we can look at their stats. We come down here and we can look at Ingrid, and Ingrid has 44 attack and 47 speed, which is really, really premium. She does have a super boon in attack, but not speed, but that's completely fine. She's still going to be able to hit 50 speed, which is insane. Then we have Felix with 46 attack and 46 speed with a super boon in speed, so he can hit 50 speed as well, which is crazy, right? We are at the 50 speed with natural border for speed, which is just nuts. Like, I did not ever expect us to be able to have 50 speed base with like just a boon, and that's it. Like, that's so stupid. So Felix is going to be extremely fast. Then we have Rhea with 44 attack, very slow with 16 speed. That's pretty much what was expected. 42 defense and 46 res with a super boon in that res, which is really important, right? Because she has the improved Dragon Wall, which is based off resistance. And she also has Scowl, which is also based off resistance. So she's obviously going to do very well in that department. Now let's move on to a bit of a disappointment. Unfortunately, we have Sylvain. And man, did they do Sylvain dirty again. Like, it's not enough that they did him dirty by making him like a demote with no preference weapon or anything, but they also kind of gave him a crappy stat line. Like 44 attack is amazing, don't get me wrong, but 35 speed is definitely not fast in today's like age, right? We just looked at Felix with 50 speed with the super boon, and then, you know, Sylvain's only gonna have like 38 with the boon, which is not great. They kind of try to make it into like a defensive cav, which is okay, but not great. I wish they would have like took some of that defense, put it into speed, and like just made him faster. I think that would have been better for like the Arcane Axe builds. He's definitely still usable. He's just not going to be as great as he could have been. Then we have Cornelia, who is our GHB, and oh my god, do I love this art, and do I love this unit. Okay, so when it comes to her stat line, she's obviously very high attack and very high resistance, right? She does have a super boon res, so she can actually get up to 44 res, and then her weapon gives res as well, so she could be very res bulky. So let's move over and actually look at her weapon so we can get a real understanding of what she can really do, because her preference weapon is really good. Okay, so we have Asclepius. I pronounced that incorrectly. I already know. Don't worry about it. And what this is a preference staff weapon that grants res +3. You get Wrathful Staff built in there. The really important thing is that any foe's res is less than her res at the start of turn, and they're adjacent to a foe. She inflicts attack and res -6 and flash. That's right. She has Sabotage Flash in her weapon. This is so ridiculously good. I love this. It's not gonna like break the meta or anything, but I think this is really unique and cool. What you can do here is you could put her on Eat the Rain's defense, right? And then if the foe doesn't really calculate for that, you can apply flash and just destroy their tanks. I can actually see this being used in summoner duels possibly as well. Probably not, maybe like SDS. But on certain maps, a lot of times your units will just be like all bunched together and you really can't spread them out. Being able to apply flash on all of them is a really big deal because it's going to allow you to just go in and destroy things without having to worry about counterattacks. Also, that's not even all. She also gets attack and res +6, and she gets true damage based off the total penalties on the foe during combat. That's right. This unit is actually so good for a Grand Hero battle. I cannot believe how well they actually treated her. I don't like expect her to like break the meta or even be like super meta impactful, but I think this is a really unique hero with a really cool niche, and I could see her being used a lot. So I'm very happy with Cornelia. She came out very, very good, and I think her art's like amazing too, so I'm very happy with that. And if that wasn't enough, we actually get attack res solo 3 at 4-star in the Grail pool as well, which is really nice. Hopefully they get attack speed solo in there soon so that we can kind of get more budget options. I think that would be great, but we'll have to wait and see how long that takes. Okay, let's move on to attack res, Scowl, and the inheritance options. So this skill is pretty strong, right? This is like essentially the Brave Tiki effect that can decelerate specials. And right now it does seem that it is limited, unfortunately, to only dragons. This isn't really a surprise because I believe in the Japanese naming it did mention dragons. So it's not a big surprise at all, and we've only seen it on dragons so far, right? We've seen it in Brave Tiki, Ascended Tiki, and Duo Duma. This is very cool. I kind of wish it would have been usable on other characters though, because I think it would have been really nice on certain save tanks. But either way, this is going to be very powerful, and I'm excited to see how it can be used in the meta. And then the other skill, of course, is Guard Bearing 4, and the skill Inheritance is the exact same as Guard Bearing 3, right? So it is kind of limited to like sword, axes, and lances, right? Which kind of sucks. I wish it would have opened it up a bit more, because flyers are so restricted by their B skills. Okay, and that's the entire data mine. I'm very excited for the legendary changes, and I'd love to hear what you think about it. So make sure to drop a comment down below telling me what legendary heroes you would love to see in Hall of Forms, and also what you think of the 3 houses units and their stat lines. Once again, I'd like to thank all my members for all their constant support, and if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. This is Oblivion, I'll catch you all later.